Do you see yourself, and would you ever consider being the conduit to that third party? Because I don't know if the Republican Party, as we knew it, will survive this. Because if he ever gets in again, we'll never have any more elections. There will be no more.
Can you stop that, please?
He will.
So what Whoopi Goldberg is saying is that if Trump gets elected, he's never going to leave the office. This is dumb, and this is intentionally, the idea is dumb, but the idea is being expressed to create fear in the listener and the viewer of The View, of this show, so that they are so motivated to go fight the fascism of Trump. Because what they've done is they've linked Trump. This is why I played this rally at the Madison Square Garden in 1939, the Nazi rally. They've linked Trump and the Trump movement and the America First movement, and it was called America First in the 1930s. The left has successfully linked Trump to the Nazi movement. So they are making him into a dictator. If we elect him, we elected him just like Hitler got elected. And that's why I keep saying Stu Peters and Nick Fuentes is working for these people, because all they're doing is giving them the cannon fodder they need. They're giving them the material they need to link Trump to Nazism. So please continue.
Will stop it. And he's very clear about that. He wants to be dictator for life. Okay? So I wonder, would you ever consider, please, would you, please, consider being that person?
Can you stop that again, please? Now here, this is my year. Whoopi goes back a long way, and I'm just going to say this because it's obvious to me. I might be alone. Go back and look at some of the Richard Pryor stuff we did. Richard Pryor, that great comedian and political thinker from the 60s and 70s and 80s. She's imitating him right here. She sounds just like Richard Pryor. She's actually using a deep energy channel to be funny and to appeal to Liz Cheney, whose father is Dick Cheney, who's the neocon of the neocons, the worst, the warhawk of warhawks, his daughter, Dick Cheney Jr. Please continue.
Tell you, I don't understand how people can say, we're with you, we're with you, we're with you, and then when you need them, they go, oh, but we're with him now. Mm-hmm. I don't understand that, and I don't understand how you find the grace not to be pissed at folks.
Oh,
you're not.
I'm
you know,
pissed.
well, you're mad at them, but you're not pissed at them, because if you were pissed at them, you would have given up on them, and you haven't.
Well,
and so, would you?
Look, I think that...
I'm begging you. Look, I'm on one knee.
Thank you. So what Whoopi and Liz are doing here is she's begging Liz to form a third party, a new party of conservatives that could support Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley and the forever wars and the empire and death and destruction and poverty for the American people. Because, you know, Whoopi's got all she needs, and she's leading the communist movement. She wants everybody to be poor and everybody to be at war. That's my opinion. It's called fragmentation. These people are openly working at fragment. They're saying that the Republican Party, forget the word Republican, the American citizens that are seeking peace and prosperity are really Nazis, hearkening back to that first bet tonight. Put this together. This is really important. These people know history. We maybe don't know it specifically, but it's in us. It's in our cultural DNA. We know it. We feel it. And she's speaking to an audience that is afraid of white Protestant Nazis that were very powerful in this country. And they were powerful going back to the know-nothings before the Civil War, and they were powerful before World War II. And they've popped up again in the likes of Nick Fuentes and Stu Peters. And what they're saying is that I, Professor Penn, a Jewish man, I'm a Nazi. And that I'm supporting a guy that if he got elected, which I'm not shilling for him, they're just presuming my support. And why do I say that? Is because people in the very senior levels, national committee people of the RNC have called me and asked me not to support Donald Trump. So they must have assumed I supported him to ask me not to support him, and I've never made a statement of supporting him. But they assume because I'm with you, the American people, working for peace and prosperity, that, I'm a Trump guy. And if we could just beat Trump, this whole movement would fragment and go away. Nah, you dummies, this is about ideas. And we're going to see this in a subsequent piece here in a second, because they're already 3 steps ahead of us. Because I keep saying it's not about Trump, it's about the ideas. And Rachel Maddow is about to outflank me and go to work on the ideas. The point is they're fragmenting the movement. Nick Fuentes, Stu Peters, Liz Cheney, Ron DeSantis, Nikki Haley, Chris Christie. All of them are fragmenting the movement of the American people. And of course, we're American citizens. We're entitled to different opinions. And if we are dumb and we don't realize we're in a war and that the perfect is the enemy, they go, oh, I don't like Trump. He slept with a porn star. Okay, I got a question for you. Have you ever looked at porn? If you're watching me and you're a Ron DeSantis guy and you're never going to vote for Trump because he's done all these illegitimate things, which he has. Have you ever looked at porn? Did you ever look at a woman because she was dressed sexually and she was showing her cleavage? Have you ever done that? Have you ever fantasized about your neighbor's wife? I'm just curious. Because if you have been pure to the extent sexually that you can cast that stone, cast away. Cast away. I'm going to tell you my personal opinion about this, admitting that I have looked at porn and I'm actually really hate myself for having done that. I grew up in the 70s. All of a sudden, wow, we don't have to look at National Geographic anymore. Wow, look at this. They addicted a whole generation of boomers to porn. Go half of what's on the internet is porn. Let's just quit doing that for starters. But, if you're looking at porn and casting stones at Trump, and he actually, let's say he did or he didn't, I don't know. I don't have any 8x10 glossies. I can only go on the rumors. But let's say the rumors are true and he paid Stormy Daniels for sex. Let's say it's true. This guy actually took a risk in the physical world and pursued his sin with great vigor. The people, Professor Penn included at different times in my life, that just look at porn and don't have the courage to actually sin with vigor. Well, God's going to spit us out if we do that, because God spits out the lukewarm. So let's quit supporting the sex industry as a people. Let's just say it can be out there. Hey, it's a free country for the people that want to do it. But if we're going to be Christian conservatives and say Trump is discredited because he's a sinner, hey, let's get the log out of our own eye. And there was a lot of this on X, and I saw it, and I'm being very revelatory because it really pisses me off, because these people are my age, and they were at the parties back in the 80s. These people were there doing the same thing. They were going to the discos. They were doing the same thing I was doing. Now, if you weren't and you were pure and you've never sinned, please get in touch with me. I'd like to be your friend. Because what I'm all about myself is putting sin down in my own life so that I can be a good vessel, a good vehicle for good things to come through me. And I have to work on that. And it's many different sins. Arrogance. Arrogance is a great one. Pride. Got to get it done. Anger. I get angry. Well, I have a big temper. I've got to really be careful with it. I can put a look on my face and scare people. And I said I had a bad weekend because I got mad and I scared somebody. And I suppose because I'm trained, and when I get mad, I probably am scary. I don't think of myself as scary, but it's not what I think. It's what the person I'm scaring thinks. So I have to apologize. And, the divine, the mission is to be loving, to be loved, love. So I got to work on that. I get away from it, and, and I'm not casting any stones. That's why I didn't wade into Ron DeSantis before this caucus, and I'm really not wading into him now. A lot of what he says I think is great, and a lot of what he's done I think is great. But I'm not into supporting this empire. this empire is going to get me killed. So any politician that's going to stand up and blindly support the empire, hey, you're in on it, and I have to be on the other side of the football. And I'm going to say again, I think Trump's in on it, and I've said this in the last podcast. Any of these secret societies generate a refined will, and that will can heal or kill. The skill is the same, it's just the intent. So if Trump can wield the military-industrial complex into being peaceful, hey, that's better than wielding it into a forever war, which is exactly what we're dealing with right now.